Oh, thank you, Pretzels. I'm really excited for the next movie. He was complimenting my exquisite choice in fashion.
The Sonic. Well, that's a good transition to Freeplay. Then we can go right into talking about Sonic the Hedgehog 2. That'll be fun.
I'm excited.
So
I was gonna say, looking at the posters for that too, like those are some very well done posters.
I want the poster that looks like the Sonic 2 cover.
Yes.
I'm sorry. I will be right back. I have to grab something.
So what's funny about Sonic is I think it's one of the best examples of creators listening to the audience but still kind of making their own thing. They were making their own live action movie, but when they put that first trailer out and it looked god awful in terms of the Sonic character design.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah.
Oh, there's the Sonic 2. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, but when the Sonic character design came out and it was so terrible in that first trailer, they redesigned it. Like the people, they actually made it,
I do have to say, because we mentioned this way earlier, but you said you hate shitty platformers, and I keep thinking to myself, Sonic the Hedgehog was the original shitty platformer.
Sonic the Hedgehog.
Shut your whore mouth.
Character.
Wow.
He doesn't stop when I stop. He just keeps sliding.
Well, they gave an animation for that.
Your mother effing mouth.
Mario's better.
Yes, he is, but I like Sonic.
I mean, if you want to talk about,
I still love Sonic. I mean, from a purely, if we're talking from a purely technical platforming perspective, yes, Mario's better. But
from
Sonic,
a purely technical platforming standpoint, I think that the DuckTales video game is probably one of the best ones ever made. But
I can't.
The music is definitely good.
Yeah, I mean, and the moon level, the music, the design, the
also DuckTales Remastered is like a god tier level remake, and I will die on that hill.
I do love that. I downloaded it day one, and now it's playing.
I love that the original Scrooge McDuck came back. He was like 94 years old. You can kind of hear his voice is strange, but like they got the original Scrooge McDuck to come back.
Yeah, the actor who played him and. Funny, he was also, that actor was actually in, if you ever go watch H.G. Wells' Time Machine, the one that they did in like the late 50s, early 60s. He was the best friend of the time traveler in that movie. Oh,
that is crazy.
Yeah, he was a very American actor who faked the Scottish accent. Which, I'm going to tell you, people, we talk about reboots and other things usually being terrible. I think a good example of a reboot, done really well is the DuckTales cartoon that they did recently that was on Disney, where it lasted 3 seasons. It was actually it made really good references and homages to the original show, but it made its own thing. It was a really good redone, if you're going to do a reboot, that's the one I think is a great example.
If we're talking about good reboots, I got to give a shout out to Scooby-Doo Mystery Incorporated. Like, if you want to talk about like the best way to update your characters to modern times and have them be both fresh but still like be the characters, Mystery Incorporated did it perfectly.
I can't disagree. I think that one was really good. I also like some of the Scooby-Doo movies, the cartoon movies they've done.
Zombie Island.
Zombie Island, I was actually about to mention that.
That is so good. That is so good.
I think we're totally, that's a good, Joey,
I feel
Mike,
like I'm going to piss you guys off if I say my opinion on Scooby-Doo.
But you know what the best reboot is? Reboot.
Oh.
They never rebooted Reboot, did they?
They did reboot.
They rebooted every episode. It's called Reboot. I'm sorry. I'm just going for the pun. I'm going for the pun.
It's a good pun. But I remember watching that as a kid on Cartoon Network. I remember Megabyte. I remember Warning Incoming Game.
Enzo. Dot Matrix. Like, Dot Matrix is a reference where no one under 30 gets that reference.
I was going to say,
Dot Matrix in Spaceballs? She was the C-3PO, wasn't she?
Yeah, she was.
Played by the late Joan Rivers.
Well, no, it was a reference to Dot Matrix printers. You remember the ones that actually had like the the paper on the sides that
when I was in middle school, we had the Dot Matrix printer for our like industrial tech class.
I will say there's pretty much when people think of dot matrix, they think of two things: printers or Game Boy. Because you know how the Game Boy said dot matrix and stereo sound. That's one of the two ways people would know the word dot matrix.
Oh, and Spooky Pretzels, as far as how wonky the lore was for Scooby-Doo, lore was pretty wonky across the board for old cartoons, because what they would do was they would write an episode, and it didn't necessarily need to correlate with any other episode that was ever written. So the lore got really kind of janky and all over the place.
Lore? What's lore? What is lore?
Basically.
What is lore? Baby, don't confuse me.
All cartoons were designed to fill a 30-minute slot and stand alone, so they didn't need to. You didn't need to watch the next episode. You could just jump in.
Lore is whatever fills a time slot.
Mm-hmm. It's only later on when a whole bunch of fans are like, "We need it to be this way."
It's like the Zelda timeline. It's like there's kind of stuff there.
No, the Zelda timeline makes perfect sense. Don't you even start.
I already have.
I have watched 1.5 hour videos on YouTube trying to explain the friggin' Zelda timeline to me, where there's there's the good timeline, there's the bad timeline. I mean,
that everybody hates.
I know.
It's like a branching timeline, and then it just converges into Breath of the Wild.
Well, the thing you have to consider with the timeline is the timeline can split in two different directions based on whether the hero succeeds or fails.
I thought it was three paths, like child, adult, and then hero fails. I thought it was 3 timelines.
There are several timelines, but there's an entire subset of timelines that branches off whenever
there's a subset of a subset of a subset.
Yeah,
there's a branch, a sub branch, and
it
gets complicated. But I'm like, Legend of Zelda is like my favorite video game lore. So
I love Zelda. I love Zelda.
I've gone pretty deep into that.
We're getting
got an
into
elf girl.
This is going to be the Austin Powers. Oh no, I've gone cross-eyed when you start trying to keep track of the.
Oh no,
Zelda.
All the pieces of lores.
But Zelda does have great lore. I just think the timeline is super messy. I wish they would just commit. I just wish Barry would cross over to Zelda just so we could fuck up the timeline and just whatever. By the way, if anybody really wants to get our co-host Joey really going on a rant, start posting on Twitter and tagging him all the pictures of Zelda, dressed as Link.
I will.
You mean Linkle? You mean Linkle?
Linkle is different. Yes. Linkle is a different character.
Yeah, Linkle is a different.
What if Zelda was a girl?
But first off, Zelda is
there
a girl.
It is. That's the thing. The what if Zelda was a girl?
I love that meme so much.
And what if Samus was a girl?
But I do have a theory that they're gonna try and clean up the timeline with Breath of the Wild. Like, I think Breath of the Wild is their reset on
Didn't Age of Calamity have some time travel shenanigans in it? Like the kind of like the spin-off game where it's like the
Oh yeah, the spin-off of Breath of the Wild. They did. I watched that because somehow like.
You mean when they did Zelda Dynasty Warriors, which is.
You mean somehow Palpatine returned?
That's right. Somehow Palpatine returned.
Yes, but we've known Ganon always returns. That's different. It's not like
Palpatine.
Because he's like elemental evil. Remember, like it's like literally just liquid malice is just going around the land.
I mean, all three of them. It's a cycle. The Zelda series is just an endless cycle. Link, Zelda, and Ganon
they are Chaos Order and the hero itself that brings the two to heal.
Power, wisdom, and courage.
Yep.
Yeah. I was gonna say, also speaking of things that are really messed up, I did want to do the screen share. I wanted to show that one like crazy panel that had been going around on Twitter lately. And then after that, by the way, for anybody watching, if you want to get on the stream and talk with us, this is an open mic moment right now.
Yeah, if you want to curse me out or tell me I'm late for dinner, please come on.
That's right.
No, I think we talked about this panel from just in text.
Oh yeah,
I had some very colorful words for this panel when
there's so many things wrong with it.
So I remember what I said. Like,
okay,
this even
so here's what's great. Someone got the artwork for the entire thing. So I'm gonna show. So like this was the actual page, but now we're gonna go back. So this is the scene. So yeah, I kind of flipped through the perspective lines, but just And here's the thing, like, even if you're an amateur artist, like, why did you put the rug under the tub?
When you had that much room for it too, like.
What I'm wondering is like that thing to the side, like the perspective on that the shelving unit to the right of the sink, like
this is the first thing I looked at too.
Oh yeah, so speaking of perspective, okay, here's the perspective lines. They follow the perspective lines of the different edges here. There is no convergence.
Wow, look at
like if they were trying to go for like some sort of like trippy like out of body like experience where like nothing made sense, this would be perfect.
That's true.
I would rather miss a deadline than
like an
deliver
MC
this
Escher
fucking product, Mrs. H.
Like if they were trying to go for like MC Escher the comic, they fucking nailed it.
Or in what was it? Fear and Loathing Las Vegas. What was the name of that writer who was always doing?
I know who you're talking about. Gonzo journalist.
Yeah. So, but so it'd be dropping acid. This is a dropping acid bathroom design.
And if that's what they're going for, great.
The argument for that one, Spooky, is that that's not a door. It's a wall panel because this entire building has been refurbished so many times. It wasn't originally an apartment building.
I also like that what I think must be allegedly the medicine cabinet looks like a refrigerator.
Yep, and then also
look at the refrigerator over here.
There's no threshold
in it.
And you see how there's no threshold here? Like it just falls off forever.
Well, okay,
like this is like one of those dreams, like where you're in a room, but like you can't leave the room.
Mike, now we're missing my favorite part, which is the curtain rod into nothingness. It's just floating.
Yeah. I gotta say,
maybe Barbara had Santana cast a spell or something.
And this is what I had said when we were chatting about this the other day, but I'm really proud of it, so I'm gonna say it again. But if I were like on this project and an artist brought this to me, I would say, here's what I want you to do. Go take a shit. Look around the room and really take in the layout. Then when you're done and you've been in there for a while, wipe your ass with this picture and draw me a new one.
Like this should have been
shit
like
my editor says.
This should have been stopped at pencils, And because the thing about because one example with the sink, because this is apparently the door, this hole is the door. So the sink should either be on this side or over here, because if you think about, you never put your back to the door with the sink, right? It's usually the tub is opposite the door in a bathroom. Furthermore, really bathrooms never have this much space. And since we already know from the page that it's going to look like this, like why even have all that space in there?
You know what's really crazy? Like you mentioned, like it should have been stopped at the pencil stage. The fact that like so many hands saw this and didn't say anything, that just makes this even worse. Because like the inker saw it, didn't say anything. The colorist saw it, didn't say anything. The letterer saw it and didn't say anything. At least 3 people, probably.
And then,
of course,
I covered this up because I don't know how I'm going to use this image in the future. But then Mark Brooks comes out and says, "This should be proud of where this is a badge of honor. I'd include it in my obituary."
Mark Brooks is a fucking hack.
Yes.
I mean, in terms of like, if you're going to be, I want to be known as the most hackest artist. Then it is.
Congratulations! Congratulations!
This is a portfolio piece.
Well, remember the source here. These people are less about the quality of their product and more about who they piss off. So,
what I find interesting is that
it's all about the message.
But
the message.
Every
the message is I'm all 3.
So wait, hold on. I know, but to the art part again, every 6 months or so, somebody will break out the Rob Liefeld Captain America art to try to mock. Like, look at how terrible this, comic book art was in the 90s. Rob Liefeld drew in a very distinctive style. Like, all his characters looked like that. They had the giant barrel-chested character designs. It was a stylist and pouches, but it was a stylistic choice. I hate people conflating issues with style choices with bad art.
Yeah, Rob Liefeld that was intentional.
I do not accept this assertion, Mrs. H. I do not.
Well, no, it's symbolic of this artist's feelings. Like, this is how they feel.
Okay, well, it seems symbolic of shitty art to me, but
yeah,
I think Mrs. H is kind of being sarcastic or whatever.
Oh, I am sure. I am totally sure. But
it's a good joke, yeah. And but it's like, because to me this looks like if you've ever had one of those nightmares where you're in a room, but like the room just has uncanny valley everywhere. In odd directions, and like this is like a blank hole to nowhere. Like, it really does feel like you're in the dream or like you're in the back rooms.
She may have ascended to a higher plane of being, and the non-Euclidean geometry is maybe
Babs. Oh, sorry, I was talking over you.
I was gonna say, this looks like Interstellar when Matthew McConaughey ends up in like through the wormhole, like time dilated dimension.
Yeah, they called that the Tesseract, I think.
Yeah,
I thought she was at Hotel California.
Oh yeah.
Well, you can check in anytime you like, but you can never leave.
Well, clearly she's in the presidential suite if that's the size of the bathroom that she's going to.
I know.
Okay. My official headcanon is she's in the presidential suite of the Hotel California.
That's right. And she's just imagining I'm all three, whatever that phrase meant. And although, by the way, I did want to go back and refer to one other thing, which was someone mentioned like, hey, well, what about the penciler, the inker, all this? Like, why didn't somebody notice? What it reminds me of was actually was a prank I played in high school, in which we created a fake advertisement that made fun of the teacher that was running the newspaper. And what happened was I actually made the ad, just the image. I submitted it. The editor put it into the newspaper, and then the teacher herself signed off on it.
But to more properly answer the question, it made it that far because that many people at DC don't give a shit.
That's right. They just signed it right off.
Thank you, Captain Obvious.
And then I remember because like that teacher went so freaking ballistic when she printed 1,500 copies of that paper, and like every one of them ran my fake ad that made fun of her.
And I think a lot of it was when she realized I did this to myself.
Oh yeah, she's like, I know he hacked it. I know he did something underhanded. Blah blah.
No, there's no hacking here. If anything's a hack, you are.
Yes. And what was fun about that is and then she like actually like, and keep in mind, like I was in the 12th grade at the time. She like made me sit in the corner. Like it's the second grade.
Yeah, I was about to say.
But what's funny is like I didn't care. I won. I so won that one.
I shall suffer in glorious indignity.
Yes, and then I went on to like create my own like fake student newspaper, and she tried to get me expelled over it. So and then what's funny is like, and then like I would do this like science outreach stuff, and like I would go back like 4 or 5 years later, and people were still talking about it. It was hilarious.
You had a legacy.
That's right. Speaking of that, yeah, you guys got any good high school prank stories? Let's just we're free playing here. What are some good high school prank stories?
I got a good middle school prank. It's not really a prank, more of a joke, but like it was kind of like the last day of 8th grade, and I had this like really hot science teacher. Let's just call her Mrs. K, and she was like cool as fuck. Like she'd allow us pretty much to do anything as long as we did our work. Like we'd be playing like Game Boys and like Pokemon. This is like early 2000s, and like we'd be downloading songs off of Kazaa. And she talking about all the rich guys she was dating. You know, she was a cool teacher. Anyway, so it was last day of 8th grade, and I was saying to my friend, like, I'm going to propose to her. Jokingly, of course, you know. And so, like, in front of the whole class, I got down on one knee, and my friend was like, he's going to do it. I was like, Mrs. K, will you marry me? And she was like, no, you're broke. And my friend was like, you're a gold digger. I knew it. And she was like, maybe. It's just all, you know, just like it was a joke, you know, like it was great.
But still, that's a classic though. And so was her response.
Yeah, but it was presented as a joke, so it wasn't like, me actually doing it. It was more just like more of a, fun kind of thing.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. Like the whole setup, like you set it up right, she responded to it right. Like that would have been an epic middle school scene right there.
It actually happened. Like I'm telling you, that whole scene actually happened verbatim. So
exactly.
I mean, I don't think I can tell my prank because I don't know what the statute of limitations on arson is.
How much
I was a minor at the time.
That story sounds lit.
Okay, so that's even better. Because when you mention that, now there was actually after a football game at my high school, and to this day nobody knows who did it, but someone did arson attack the what is it, like the print technology room, and it was like $11 million worth of damage. Like they completely destroyed.
Slender, why did you torch that room? Slender, why did you do that?
Okay, first off, I burned a tent, and I had damn good reason to do so. I'll explain.
Please tell me the person was at least an asshole.
I don't know. I didn't meet them directly, but I'm from a very small town in Illinois, and once a year, you have to lock the doors on your cars because Boy Scout weekend is happening. And those little fuckers will steal anything they can get their hands on. I forgot about Boy Scout weekend and lost about $400 worth of CDs. Because, this was back when CDs were still a thing.
So we're talking the mid-50s, right?
We're talking the late 90s or mid-90s.
I know, I'm just being facetious.
But so I was not the only one who got hit that particular time. So me and a couple of my buddies decided we were going to go get them back, and we snuck up to where they camped, to their campsite, in the middle of the night. None of them were in their tents yet because they were off doing whatever it is Boy Scouts do. I mean, I don't really know.
I mean, I was a staff at a summer camp for 3 years. Yeah. So you lit some tents on fire?
Yeah.
So I guess you could say you lit a fire under their butts.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we know who started the fire now. Billy Joel can.
I started the fire.
Yep.
But did you shoot the sheriff?
No.
But did you shoot his deputy?
I didn't shoot the deputy, but I know the guy who did.
Hold on, Mrs. H. Someone broke into the car. But they left all the CDs. Of course. Well, I wonder if that's a joke. It was,
Mrs. H. I hope it wasn't. I hope Seth Rogen didn't do it.
I hate Seth Rogen.
Man, I mean, do you all remember like when you had to have your, you had your book of CDs, and then for your car, you had your like 10, your little sleeve that held like 10, so that you could put it on your visor.
Yeah.
No, I had the big ass binder full of CDs in my car. That's
you
why
brought the whole binder. I mean, you gotta lower that down. You gotta keep it to that 10 that you can put on the visor, and then you're just like, you've got to, out of all your music, this is before people don't understand this, but when you didn't have like a shuffleable like playlist of every music ever made.
You didn't have a subscription to Spotify, and thus every song ever made.
So you had to pick your like 10 CDs. Like, what did you have?
Boy Scout weekend was like.
Yeah, and what's funny about this
antique shop on that weekend only, as a shadow customer, to just keep an eye out, make sure the Boy Scouts didn't try to steal anything out of the guy's shop.
I was gonna say, and also this whole thing feels kind of weird to me too, because I worked at a Boy Scout summer camp for 3 summers. And what's funny is the Boy Scouts were fine.
I hope you were near one of the tents I set on fire.
But we had Cub Scout weekend, and that was the one. It's not just in that case. Like, we actually, at the staff tents, we had to station someone to watch the staff tents, because those little kids, it's not just that they would go into the tents and steal stuff. Like, they would also like, hey, like, we got our like pocket knife card, and like they just start like cutting holes in the tents.
Wait, Mrs. H, you're saying they weren't interested in Nightwish? Well, they have some really shit taste then, because Nightwish is awesome.
I liked Ace of Base.
Everybody loved Ace of Base. They were huge.
I saw the sign, and it opened.
No,
that wasn't one of their better songs, but
I mean, it's the one they're known for.
It was one of their most popular. But I mean, they were going to be the next ABBA, but they weren't.
They were until they weren't.
That's all right. So here's all right. So when you had your aside from Joey who carted around the giant book of them, what were the like CDs that you had to have in your sleeve? Like, because you're like I remember. All right, in my age group, everybody had Third Eye Blind, right? Everybody had that CD.
I mean, Third Eye Blind, Green Day.
I wish you would step back from that ledge.
The Offspring.
Gotta keep them separated.
Yeah, so there was so it depends on like I mean it was
for me I'm like I did high school like I'm like late 90s early 2000s because I graduated in 06, so it's like Eminem, like an Eminem CD.
Oh, I had a lot of Insane Clown Posse.
ICP.
Pretty much every teenage girl probably had like a that's more my sister's generation, like NSYNC, Backstreet Boys CDs.
You say your sisters. That's what I graduated in '99, so I had, I didn't 2000. Have. Yeah, so I didn't have Backstreet Boys or NSYNC because I wasn't a girl, but I definitely had. Let's see, like I said,
Third Eye Blind. When you mentioned NSYNC, I'm thinking of like Newgrounds.com and their assassin section where you could kill NSYNC.
I mean, I think everybody had Cracked Review. Hootie and the Blowfish was gigantic when you were a freshman.
I was more of a Blues Traveler guy.
Oh yeah, they were.
Three Doors Down. Like I trust me. Yep. I love Three Doors Down. The Better Life is one of my favorite albums of all time. Evanescence, Linkin Park.
I was gonna say when they were first coming out too. That's the thing, like because Linkin Park and Eminem, like they've been going a long time.
Those first two Linkin Park albums are some of the best pieces of music ever committed to plastic.
I was gonna say sometimes
rap rock was never my favoriteest thing, so I know Linkin Park.
I mean, Linkin Park they mixed it up. It wasn't strictly rap rock,
Yeah, I mean, but
it is kind of an interesting question too. Of if you go back to like 1800s, you think of like the great composers, and that's the music that defines those eras. And then I think of like then you get up to like 1960s and 70s, and I know of course like Leonard Skinner was very iconic, and Beatles. So was Rush, and so were the Beatles, and if you think about it in the sense of like songs people are still using and referring back to right now, right? And it makes you wonder, like for kind of our generation, like what are those songs going to be?
Well, we're already starting to see 2000s nostalgia kind of coalesce into a thing. Like I think even 2010s nostalgia is kind of starting to come up. Like you're starting to see like 2000s nostalgia kind of crystallize into its things.
I absolutely reject the idea that 2000. I'm feeling old now. That 2000s nostalgia is crystallizing. When I'm like, I remember that, and I already thought the music was getting bad. I'm turning into my parents. I'm like, oh, your new crap is terrible.
That's because
it's like that terrible. One meme from The Simpsons. I was with it until it changed.
Like I think it'll be more like Principal Skinner, where I'm like, am I out of touch? No, it's the children who are wrong.
I'm sorry, but Blinding Lights is a great song, and
all I know is like I've always liked instrumental music, so
anime, video game music, movie scores.
Yeah, but
Infected Mushroom. Infected Mushroom
ended the generations.
James Horner,
Weird Al Yankovic.
Oh yes,
he still got it, man.
They're making a biopic of him right now with Harry Potter playing him.
No, I thought it was the guy from Ant-Man playing him, Paul Rudd. No, he did it for Halloween. He was Weird Al for Halloween.
No, it's gonna be what's his actual name? Like Harry
Daniel
Potter.
Radcliffe.
Daniel Radcliffe is playing Weird Al Yankovic in the biopic.
Daniel Radcliffe's a good actor. I think I'll say give him a chance.
We'll see if he can pull it off.
Weird Al's been on the cutting edge.
I don't see Daniel Radcliffe having the voice for it.
Well, he's clearly not going to sing his own stuff.
Yeah, they have Weird Al for that.
I guess that's true.
Like, you don't think Weird Al is involved in the project?
Yeah, I mean, he's writing the check. I mean, was it?
They're writing him the checks.
Yeah, he's getting the checks. I mean, the Saga Begins isn't getting him the money it used to. Amish Paradise probably still is. That one is always good.
Smells Like Teen Spirit is probably still making him bank.
I mean,
Smells Like Nirvana, sorry.
Either that or, I think Weird Al's, we talked about.
Fat and Eat It are still classics, and I bet you they pull down royalties.
I really like his Lady Gaga parody, Performed This Way. I think it was kind of like Weird Al just came back out of nowhere, did Lady Gaga, and it just nailed it.
I thought White and Nerdy was pretty funny too.
Oh my god, I love that they had Donny Osmond, like literally the whitest guy ever. Like he will be the whitest guy to ever exist. Like he makes
to be
white
fair,
bread look like
I
a
know,
brother.
but Donny Osmond is the one who will make a man out of you. I mean, you got to remember.
I do like aluminum foil.
He did sing that in Mulan. You got to do that.
Take my fingers and shove them up your ass.
That was inappropriate. I'm gonna say no.
I regret nothing.
Yeah, but but there was that one. He had a great run in the '90s where he did instead of Lump, he did Gump with Forrest Gump, which was a great one.
All about the Pentiums.
Yeah,
In it for the Pentiums.
That's a little dated, but it's good.
And like Joey said, Fat. The music video for Fat is just pitch perfect.
Surgeon.
It's hilarious. Yeah,
like a surgeon.
It's hard to do the parody stuff. It was funny because the only, if I remember right, the one he did an interview, the only act that he ever got flack and it had an issue with was Coolio, because he thought he had got permission and Coolio either changed his mind or didn't actually give permission to do Amish Paradise. But Amish Paradise is such a big hit, Weird Al still has to sing it.
I have to guess that somebody representing Coolio did give permission, and word never got back to Coolio.
I think before what Weird Al did is he got permission from the label and not necessarily the artist, and that's kind of where the discrepancy happened. And so basically from then on, he got permission directly from the artist. After that, that's my impression.
Is Mrs. H dropping a reference to My Little Pony Friendship is Magic, where Weird Al
I hope not
played the character Cheese Sandwich? Because I think that's where she's going.
And I'm not a My Little Pony fan, but like that does sound awesome. Like I actually,
because that's my only context that would make sense in this conversation. So
knowing Mrs. H, I'm going to say yes, but also no.
The My Little Pony show is not bad. My son watches it, and it's
I have
good.
Daughters, and I've seen some episodes of My Little Pony, and I'm no brony, but they're kind of funny.
Yeah.
Well, they also had some pretty strong, good messages. They all run businesses. They all want to make money and expand said businesses. There's a lot of good messaging going on.
Tara Strong voices one of the main characters, so it's got that going for it at least.
Yes, she does Twilight Sparkle, which
I think it's one of her most iconic roles now.
Well, that and
everything.
She
Batgirl, Raven, Timothy from Purely Odd Parents.
The Raven voice for
Harley
Teen
Quinn.
Titans is really more like just going very goth down.
Yeah, like you saw the behind the scenes, like rolling wrath, round and around, where she kind of did, kind of thing.
Yeah, so she's. She is I met her. She's really nice in person, but I do think that sometimes she doesn't have as much range for some of it isn't as much. I think she did Harley Quinn for the Arkham games.
She did it for Arkham. For the first game, they got back Annie Sorkin from the animated series, the original Harley Quinn voice for Asylum, but for City, it was Tara Strong, and I think after that.
Yeah, because and I think she also did she do it for Injustice? Was she the Harley Quinn for Injustice?
I'm not sure. I know what's really crazy is like, if you go like the people who voice Harley Quinn, two of the ladies from Big Bang Theory did Harley Quinn. Like Melissa Ranch, who plays Bernadette, did Harley in like the Harley Batman and Harley Quinn movie, which is it's so bad it's good. And then Kaylee Cuoco, Penny, is the voice of Harley Quinn in the series.
Yeah, Kayla Cuoco does. That's an HBO Max show, and it is very adult, like very adult. Do not like watch that with your young kids because it's not kid friendly. Just to throw that out there, not like
But
that.
everything animated is for kids. Haven't you heard? If it's animated, it must be for 2-year-olds.
It can never be
Yeah,
anything
they should
else.
definitely not watch some of the animes I've watched or we've talked about on this show.
I mean,
School DxD.
So you're saying this?
I'm-
You're saying that this DVD that I got from a Japanese store, which has squids all over it and is actually kind of sticky, I shouldn't show it to my kid?
Well, that's there you go. That would be the not safe for Baptist symbol
Depends
right
on how
there.
badly
I
you
think
want to
we're
scar
going
your
past
kid.
not safe for Baptists and straight into like not safe for lunch.
Why don't you? Should we have a little tab that says "only safe for Kurt Eichenwald"? Is that too deep a reference?
It's
Oh no wait. What was it? I need to think of the guy's first name. I think it was Henry Meinau.
I don't know that one. I remember the Kurt Eichenwald one. That was so he's a very famous journalist, takes himself very seriously, and he was oversharing on Twitter, trying to rant about something. So he took a screenshot from his computer, and he forgot.
Oh, that Kurt! I know that reference.
And
okay, we're not going to go farther with that because
he had tabs open on his browser for certain content. And when people pointed that out, I won't describe the content.
Are the first 3 letters HEN?
Maybe.
No. It was a very, very specific reference to a very, very specific.
No. Nick.
Does it have to do with certain pools in Japan?
Yeah, HEN.
Yes.
And I really like Thai food, so I'm just saying.
Yeah, so it would be so he was ordering calamari on the internet, and he had the browser window open with it. And then when people called him out for it, he said that, oh no, he wasn't actually watching that himself. This is where he actually made things worse. He made things so much worse. It was just a video
where someone spilled calamari on a girl at the restaurant.
But no, this is
where
it gets
very white and sticky calamari.
No, hold on. All right, guys, let me tell you how it gets worse when he defended himself on why he had the calamari tab open on his browser.
Didn't he say it was research?
He said research. He said that at family.
Better.
No, this is better. He said at family dinners with his children and his wife, his children and him would try to point like tell his wife things that she didn't know about, and she didn't believe that there was that there was calamari from Japan on the internet
right now.
And so they were, and his defense was that him and his children looked that up to show his wife.
Someone needs their parental rights revoked yesterday.
And that's how but this is how he thought he would get out of having the tab open on his browser and getting caught.
I am physically ill. Like literally my stomach feels queasy.
Yeah, so by the way, I'm totally using that from now on. A little bit
more wholesome, but now that I remember who Kurt Eichenwald was, the other thing that was fun too is, you're right, if you watch his profile over the years, he starts losing all these positions because I think he did stuff like that more than once as well.
Remember, he was the guy who sued someone who sent him because he said he was epileptic. Someone like posted a GIF, whatever way you want to say it, that had like, I think it was The Simpsons. It was the, remember the strobing turtle, that would give kids epilepsy. Epileptic seizures.
You're thinking about
oh, Futurama. Was it Futurama? Which one was it where it had the the light strobing turtle? It was Futurama and The Simpsons.
I think it was The Simpsons.
Yeah, so I think it was The Simpsons. So someone posted, like, just tagged him in that tweet. And so he claimed that when he saw that, he had a seizure. And then so he sued somebody as a result of it for damages. It was like, this was crazy. Like,
it was also because he tried to like bill himself as a purist, but like exactly, we found out that's really not the case.
Yeah, that's why I never try to pretend to be something I'm not, because like you try to portray yourself as like, I'm this pure-hearted individual, and then eventually they find out that like I like going to Japan and going to the wrong brothels.
Right.
So yeah, we definitely are getting a warning label for this section of the.
Are we talking about traps now?
I mean, traps are gay, so.
Guys,
and I just got canceled.
Yeah, so I'll tell you, we'll go back to my much more wholesome reference with Mr. Minow. So, and what's funny is this one also has a funny story attached because, anyway, so Henry Minow, he was the head of the FCC. I want to say back in the 70s, but it's when Gilligan's Island was on. Yes, that's right, Blue Kitty. I am bringing us back to heel. So, and so one of the things was the Gilligan's Island team actually made fun of him because there's a ship in Gilligan's Island called the Minnow. That's the ship that crashes. So every episode it starts off with that guy, his name being named after that ship, getting crashed. And what's funny is because like I'm kind of a political guy, so over in the libertarian space, we use this as an example of like subtle ways that people would fight back against like the regulations in the FCC, and how Minow's goal was basically he's like, I want quality content, but basically quality content is quality of his choosing. And so it's really just like whatever his taste was, that was what was considered.
Reality can be whatever I want.
And if you listen to his speeches, like he really believed like that the whole world was just this world of degenerates, and like it was his mission to make everything wholesome, basically.
I mean, he wasn't wrong.
Yeah, in some senses for sure. But anyway, but like there's a specific, but it's specific to like the way he wants to go about it, right? Like
he wanted to cleanse the world of sin, you know, the standard biblical bullshit.
I don't think that's quite right, but we'll have to talk about that some other time. But
sorry.
Yeah, no worries. But anyway, so what's funny though is we get into this. I started talking about this on Twitter, and then all of a sudden, Minow's daughter, or no, his granddaughter, gets on the Twitter feed to correct me because apparently she's looking for every instance of this guy's name. And then the granddaughter of like the director of Gilligan's Island gets on the thread, and they start chatting to each other.
This is some next level shit.
Yes.
It's like, you know, round one, fight.
And next thing you know, and what's funny though is like it was funny. It was but yeah, it's like that was kind of the backstory behind that guy, and you can go look up his speeches. But it's pretty interesting, and somehow we'll have to work out like these type of references. But I gotta admit, I like that Eichenwald reference, especially when you consider like where he ended. That I don't think he's lost all of his positions, but he's lost a good number of them over these kind of shenanigans.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of why, like, personally, I try to, you know, I try to kind of keep myself out of drama, kind of do my own thing. Like, sure, I express my opinion, but I try to be measured in, like, what I say, you know?
Yeah, no. And my problem with it is, of course, because, like, I, like, write on dystopias, and then also, too, like, actually, I'm kind of a nerd for, like, large-scale disasters, from, like, industrial to, like, human disasters. And so the problem, and the thing about dystopian writing is the problem is right now the world's just giving us crazy we couldn't have imagined every single day.
Yeah, it's kind of like you know, the meme of like, you know, if the last few years was a novel, it would not be accepted by any writer. Like, plot twist is coming out of thin air, like the whole entire story just changing on a dime. You know, like it is the worst written dystopian novel ever.
Or I was going to say, or if you think of, what is it? What are the two guys from Trading Places? The two rich guys. Help me out here, Vinny. Is Mortimer and...
It's Mortimer and... Oh, I think
it's Danny Eckhart and Eddie Murphy are the actors.
Yeah.
No. But like, the rich guys are... it's the Dukes. I know that the last name was the Dukes.
Oh, I guess in that case, William and Mortimer, I think. Duke. And they're like, hey, man, like, let's bet each other $1 to see if we can get this guy to end up like this. And we're going to ruin his life in the process.
Oh, it's Randolph and Mortimer.
Randolph. Okay.
Yep.
And sometimes you're right, it feels like we're in that movie, except they're like, what nonsense can we get people to accept out in the public today?
I mean, honestly, it's not that hard because you got people so whipped up and so into their tribe. As long as things are said in the tribe, people will believe anything, especially if it like sticks it to the other side, you know?
Yep. I was gonna say, and then also that was and I'm thinking Facebook's not as popular as it used to be, but that was like Mark Zuckerberg was also doing all those experiments to say like, hey, can we control what people see and like change their opinions based on that? And I mean, man, like that's good novel material right there.
So the one thing that Mark Zuckerberg learned really well from when Facebook killed MySpace is to just buy your competitors before they can oust you. So that's why he immediately bought Instagram, and he's buying all these other, possible threats so that, people, he's going to have your data no matter what.
Yeah, and that's the big reason why he's pushing VR in the metaverse, because he knows social media won't be around forever. That's why he bought Oculus, and that's why he's trying to do the metaverse, because he's trying to be at the forefront of like the next wave of whatever, and everyone.
The only
thinks
problem is he's not fucking human, so he doesn't know what we're looking for.
I was gonna say, in metaverse,
iRobot.
And Metaverse looks like a knockoff of Second Life anyway.
A really bad one at that, because like I played Second Life hardcore in 2014 for a year, and it's a mess, but it's a beautiful mess. I
just like the fact that you could fly in that game, but the problem is like you would just fly in on various servers, and then you would like drop into some very, very bad situations.
I mean, you could fly.
Yeah, there's some really depraved areas. Trust me, I've seen some things, man.
Yeah, the problem is if you just spend enough time there, it's kind of like this. You're like rolling the dice every single time, except it's like if you roll a 2, 4, 5, or a 6, you will run into something.
Yeah, for me, one of the things I liked about Second Life is like you could buy like, I could buy a Power Ranger costume, I could buy an X-Wing, like all the content was like user generated, and like there's a really good role playing scene there, because like Second Life is actually set up extremely well for role playing.
Yeah, it was and possibly still is. Of course, the other great one you can buy are like the screaming SpongeBob cubes, if you remember those pranks.
Oh yeah, yeah. Like I said, my era was like early to mid teens. And
Vinny, did you ever play this game? I have no idea what the fuck they're talking about anymore.
Okay, so
Second Life was like The Sims.
I mean, I know what Second Life was, but they're going deep into the weeds. So I never played it.
No,
okay, I mean, we're kind of skimming the surface, because Second Life has some really messed up shit that, like, even I don't want to talk about it.
Including there's like various hacker groups that came out with like quite a variety of pranks, and what most of their hacks looked like is like they were just this like explosion of cubes with shock images and screaming, right?
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, those videos were always like really fun to watch.
Yeah, trolling's always fun when you're not being the one being trolled.
Yep. That's right. Anything you put on the internet lasts forever.
Except MySpace photos, yeah.
I used MySpace back in the day. I kind of miss it. I wish it would come back.
I feel like MySpace was better than Facebook because I could customize my space, which I liked.
Because it was your space.
I was learning HTML code and shit just so I could make my space look cooler.
I mean, we have a whole generation of web developers who cut their teeth on MySpace, so.
Well, Mark Zuckerberg says you can have your space if you buy the land in the metaverse, and then you can customize it. If you buy the NFTs that you want to customize it.
Yeah, I'm not buying digital real estate.
I'm sorry, but we did. That's just Earth 2.0, and fuck that.
And let's be honest, I am sure somewhere in the user agreement, I'm not actually buying digital real estate. I'm leasing it from them. And I only get to keep it so long as I use it in exactly the way they tell me that I can use it.
Yeah.
Exactly. Not to mention you're spending real money.
It's like the worst homeowners association ever.
Yeah.
Oh my god, there's going to be metaverse HOAs. That's going to be awesome.
Yeah, no, it's not. Shut up.
I was going to say, Karen,
they're
Karen
going to
has
be
now become Meta Karen.
Meta Karen will be inspecting your lawn.
She has obtained her final form.
Oh shit!
Okay,
and from Meta Karen will arise Mecha Karen.
I want to speak to your manager.
No, she is the manager.
That is some Inception level bullshit.
That's right. So okay. So Vinny, I think we've got little chat ideas now.
The Meta Karen. I think that'll be an interesting one.
That's right.
Robo Karen.
That sounds like a nightmare scenario, though.
I was gonna say no. We can do Meta Karen, except we'll call it Third Life, and we can actually bring back. I'll get you the video of those like old like Second Life hacks.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, Christy can totally be a script kitty for that.
Yeah.
You can make Third Life as long as it has blackjack and hookers.
You could do I don't know why I came to this, but you could do an interesting skit with like the Karen thing where like you have a Karen demanding to speak to the manager, only to find out that the manager is also a Karen.
When Karen's attacked tonight on Fox.
And then it's a Karen versus a Karen. What happens when Karens fight in the wild?
Wigs go flying.
This is gonna be like Zoolander. It's a walk off. It's a walk off. It's a Karen off.
It's a walk off. It's a walk off, everybody.
Oh, Zoolander is so good.
I love Zoolander.
How can they learn if they can't even get inside the building?
I think the gasoline fight was better. I don't want to live in a world where people just can't get in a friendly gasoline fight.
Just because we have perfect hair and chiseled abs does not mean that we too can't not die in a freak gasoline fight accident.
Did you not like my Ugoogly? Do you think I'm not a good Ugoogleizer?
Can you imagine if for the search engine wars, if Yahoo had won? So in saying, "Oh, Google it," but "Oh, Yahoo it."
I mean, you're too young to remember Alta Vista.
Yes.
I mean, I was a tried and true Yahoo guy until
I remember Dogpile.
Completely destroyed them.
Ask Jeeves.
Dogpile.
Was I the only one who actually got used Ask Jeeves because it was an
I remember Ask Jeeves.
Yeah. I always loved Dogpile because they had the joke of the day. I always used to log onto their site and just look at their joke of the day.
I remember downloading
Magellan.
I remember downloading Netscape Navigator in the computer lab classroom computers because I wanted to be able to get around the security, and all the security was based on using the Internet Explorer browser, but they were too, this was 1996, 97. So they didn't think that, you could download another browser that didn't, I'm going to download
Internet Explorer, the best browser for downloading other browsers.
So you download Netscape Navigator and then you start going to any place you want.
You were a true hacker.
I mean, our generation invented hacking. That's what a lot of people think.
I was going to say, I'm also thinking too, if you guys remember all the way back to AOL,
AIM.
I remember when AOL, it was kind of like they wanted the internet to be like what was inside of their system, basically, like inside of their internal.
Yeah, their walled garden. Yeah.
And then at one point I remembered, I saw a friend who had a different internet service provider, and I saw the little connection window, and then I'm like, oh, I see the connection window for AOL too. I wonder if I can just minimize this window and connect to other stuff. And then I found out, I could. And then I'm like, forget AOL.
A whole new world.
A whole new world opened up to me. A world of
a
world of
fine until
you went to
attacked.
Yes.
Yes, that is.
Oh,
but especially it was the world of link sharing networks. You remember those link sharing rings?
Use groups.
Yep.
Back in my day, when we wanted our music, we didn't need no fancy Napster. We went on to Usenet.
That's right.
We dialed up AOL on our 2880 baud modem.
Ooh, that's old school. 56K or bust.
56K didn't exist when I first got the internet, so...
Yeah, that's because you're old.
So yeah, I think I need to do a Last Airbender parody now. The Karen Nation.
Yes, please do. And you need to give everyone in the Karen Nation a Karen haircut, men, women, and children alike.
Yep. I mean, you've seen it.
So
I don't know if you've seen my comic strip.
Yeah, go ahead.
Benders, you have like firearm benders.
Firearm benders. What about a manager bender? That's what a Karen is. They're manager benders.
Well, manager bender, I just think of Futurama, and I want to make a Futurama joke. But
you could give Bender Karen haircut.
That's true. I think they did that in an episode of Futurama when it was the girl bender, like when he put the wig on.
I was gonna say I thought there might have been an episode where he did something kind of like this.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I could. There you go. There's Aunt Karen. Yeah, from her debut in Little Chad #1. Yeah, so I could tell, like, the Karen Nation. I think that would. Clearly, I think Chad Dad would probably be from Earth.
The most important line of the entire series, right here.
Can't even do one set of squats.
But does he lift?
Clearly, I love that there's a lot of people who always joke about, like, he skipped leg day, and I was like, I don't know if you've seen comic strip characters. They always have the barrel chest and the little legs. It's just
comic characters always skip leg day.
Yeah,
it's the law.
I mean, I'm terribly inspired by the Bruce Timm, style with Batman the Animated Series and Superman.
Not a bad thing to be inspired by.
I mean, for the first couple of weeks that I was reading it, I kept saying, I was like, oh, look, Johnny Bravo grew up, got himself a wife, and started a family.
Yeah, and there's Todd Sawyer. Yeah. Yep. Our best friend.
Surrounded by toxic masculinity. They need to learn to be allies.
That guy needs to lay off the soy lattes, just saying.
Oh, it's an arc. It's gone. It's ongoing.
He is being redeemed.
He's being reborn.
But this is where he starts.
You got to start somewhere. You got to have little Chad opening the jar of pickles for you.
Yep. And so let's jump down here.
Yeah. Now he's out working out.
Oh my God! I know where you got that from. That's Rocky IV.
Of course.
Yes.
I don't hide it. I love.
You literally put him in the same jacket.
Exactly. I mean, when he first started training, I believe it's like 20. There's 23 or 24. Yep, 24 is what
you put him in the Rocky tracksuit.
Yep.
Rising up, back on the streets.
Yep. And then let's see, where was the next one with him?
That one right there. Yeah.
Oh yeah, the Mulan reference will make a man out of you.
I guess he's getting down to business.
See, and see, he's doing leg day. He's doing his squats. Come on.
Yep. Well, helping out. Yeah, it's important. So
yeah,
it is important.
Oh, we're getting the 2-hour mark. It's about time.
Yeah, it is time. All right.
Well, I had fun.
You guys, of course. It's always a fun time. Thanks for coming.
Yeah. Anytime you guys want to have me on, let me know.
No, it was fun.
All right, sounds good. Yeah, just reach out anytime you got project going on, and we'll be glad to talk about it.
Yeah, I'll probably hit you up sometime late summer, early fall.
Awesome. All right. Well, y'all have a good one.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
See you, Zay.